All right, going back to the top story, as South China Sea tensions hot up, India has ramped up its defense and security ties with the Philippines, supports Manila in upholding its national sovereignty. Mr. Tayal joins us from New Delhi. Mr. Tayal is a former Indian ambassador to South Korea and Uzbekistan. Ambassador Tayal, welcome to DD India News Hour. Now, first up, how would you describe India's relations with the Philippines in general and defense ties in particular? We are given to understand that India would supply the BrahMos missiles to the Philippines. It will be the first time India is exporting the missile to a foreign country.
India's relations with all the members of ASEAN have been very close, very of long duration. And with Philippines also, they have been growing. There have been exchanges also at the military level. And this, of course, the BrahMos missile deal was a game changer. $375 million deal, and 3 batteries of BrahMos missiles will be supplied to Philippines, which are really required by Philippines to defend its maritime borders, which are being encroached upon by China. These are cruise missiles, and they can hit the Chinese ships if they come to endanger the sovereignty of Philippines. Now, Philippines has been trying to come to some kind of a deal with China. Former President Duterte had practically surrendered to China, but China kept on pressing and enhancing its claims. And ultimately, President Duterte was very, very frustrated and had to reverse. He had totally spoiled his relations with the United States.
Right.
Had practically broken off the defense ties with the United States, which have all been restored gradually. And United States has repeatedly said that security of Philippines is a guarantee given by United States. They have a security alliance.
Right.
It is not like Taiwan or where there is no specific security alliance. But the issue here is that India's role really is limited.
Okay.
In South China Sea. We can certainly do whatever we can to bolster the defenses of Philippines by way of training, by way of BrahMos or more batteries or more missiles. We have all kinds of other missile systems. And that is where I see more cooperation between India and Philippines.
Fair enough. Ambassador Tayal, now India's Minister of External Affairs, Subramaniam Jaishankar, held extensive talks with its Filipino interlocutors in Manila. What are India's stakes in the Indo-Pacific, especially the contested waters around the Philippines? And also, what are the implications of the South China Sea dispute on India's Act East and Indo-Pacific policies?
The entire peace and stability of the entire Indo-Pacific region is under threat, because the status quo, which had kept all that area tranquil for decades after the Vietnam War, is being disturbed unilaterally and again in different regions by China. Whether it is Galwan, whether it is South China Sea, whether it is Taiwan, China is bearing its fangs. And something which was earlier well established, since 1999, the Philippines, that ship is there in Philippines maritime zone, where there's a Philippine ship which has some soldiers, about 20 soldiers, and which has been regularly supplied by Philippines ports for the upkeep and change of those soldiers since 1999. And since couple of years, China has started disturbing that movement of Philippine supply boats, and is threatening Philippines to and I'll quote today what they said.
Hmm.
China has said that relations with Philippines are at a crossroads, and he has said threatened that Philippines should choose prudent path. That is threatening, bullying a small country, Philippines. We all recall that China has no claim at all under the UNCLOS, that arbitration award, which was about 6 years back. We all recall that award, and China defied that United Nations Conference Law of the Sea award.
Hmm.
This, and even if anybody looks at the map and that nine dash line claimed by China, it makes no sense.
Indeed.
The
Hmm.
dots, the dashes are so far away from the Chinese coast and Chinese mainland.
Hmm.
Pure bullying. It is pure harassment of small countries, and
Absolutely.
all the right thinking countries of the world who believe in a rule-based order must come to the support of Philippines, and India has very clearly, openly has come to declared, and as our External Affairs Minister said, India supports Philippines in upholding its national sovereignty. And of course, China has not liked it, and China has said that they asked India to respect its claim on SCS, respect its illegal claim. I said, what cheek
Right.
China has? But things are getting more difficult
Okay.
because perhaps China feels that America is already involved in two wars,
Hmm.
and if China pushes Philippines, America will not be able to come to its support. I think that is
Okay.
what Chinese calculation is.
Okay.
But sometimes calculations can go very, very wrong.
Hmm.
We have seen with what happened with Russia and Ukraine. So let us hope that better counsel prevails. But the way China is behaving as an aggressive bully in the entire region, I am rather pessimistic.
Ambassador Tayal, according to some commentators, India has historically taken a somewhat neutral position on the South China Sea disputes, but some others say that a noticeable change is emerging in New Delhi's stance. How do you look at it?
I would agree with that perception. I
Hmm.
think earlier statements have always been to resolve peacefully and this and that, but the code of conduct for the South China Sea, which was to be negotiated between ASEAN and China, China has made sure that there is absolutely no progress. And during that time, to 2012 onwards, it kept on changing the status quo, kept on building new islets into islands and creating capacity for landing strips, landing strips, boat jetties and docks, and it has totally changed the scenario. And so now it is a little late for all that to be reversed, short of a war. But at least no further expansion should be allowed by China,
Okay.
and there must be a pushback, a very strong pushback from all the members of ASEAN, all the members of Indo-Pacific, and the entire world.
Ambassador Tayal, we've discussed about India-Philippines ties and India's stakes in the region and beyond. I want us to focus, if you will, on Philippines-China ties. Let me put it into its proper context for our viewers. The Philippines is just one of many countries in China's neighborhood that are bearing the brunt of Chinese expansionism, coercion, confrontation, and belligerence. India has seen it in Galwan and other locations along the line of actual control that separates it from China. Now, the Philippines is seeing it in the West Philippine Sea. Have the China-Philippines tensions reached a tipping point?
They are certainly at, China has called it, they are at a crossroads. So, because they were used to a very servile President Duterte, and he was just not challenging China at all, and he also thought that perhaps status quo will be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
The way China kept on expanding its bases and its islands and all the creeping possession of more and more creeping into the Philippines EEZ, he was disappointed. And the new president, the present, he is very clear-eyed about China, and he has made statements, very clear statements, and that Philippines will stand by its territorial integrity and sovereignty, and that Filipino boats are also
Mm-hmm.
trying again and again to send supplies to this small contingent of Filipino troops
Right.
on this abandoned ship,
Mm-hmm.
but which is on a atoll, but which is within Filipino EEZ, but
Mm-hmm.
which illegally China claims. So if China and today's or yesterday's water cannon attack by Chinese Coast Guard ships
Mm-hmm.
on Filipino supply boats has injured the Filipino crew and damaged the boat. So we'll see whether Philippines is able to supply that contingent by some other means. But it's very difficult situation at present, and I hope that Philippines does not give in, because if
Okay.
it gives
Mm-hmm.
in one to the Chinese bullying,
Right.
then their entire claim, they will make it a reality that the Philippines will leave that area and will never be able to
Mm-hmm.
reclaim their own territory. So they must make a stand,
Right.
and the entire world, and most specifically the United States, must stay at the back of Philippines.
Ambassador Tayal, pleasure as always to talk to you. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.